Okay, so what I'm going to do quickly is a very simple video on how to use the Disaster Relief CERT resources database. And the first thing one needs to remember is to go to Disaster Relief CERT, one word, .org.za, and press enter. It will then bring you to the main screen, and there's a volunteer login here. Please remember that your password is definitely case sensitive. So put in your username and your password, and of course if you have forgotten either of the username or the password, you can reset utilizing at least the username. Otherwise you'll have to contact me directly on 082 859 2684, and that will be by WhatsApp only. Please don't phone me or send me SMSs. Rather do it via WhatsApp. All right. So basically, once you log on to your profile itself, the main menu will come up. Now, if you are willing to assist in adding to the databases or maintaining them, whichever way you want to work this. Once you've logged on, your main menu here at the front page will be very different to mine. However, if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see right at the bottom there's a resource database button which is available. Once you click on that, it'll take you through to the main screen. Just give it a minute to load up, and of course all of the databases that are currently available is the community policing forums. So I need people to get specifically executive committee and committee members details, but patroller details can also be collected if need be. They might be a little bit more difficult to get, or in actual fact to maintain on a regular basis. And whoever is watching this video, and whenever you are involved in this, please remember that you will be doing this on behalf of Disaster Relief CERT, which is a registered company, and therefore we form part of the private body aspect. And of course the Protection of Personal Information Act does come into play. So any information that is given to you for capturing into this database, that is given to you directly by a data subject, of course you have to treat that information in terms of the POPI Act, and you may not share it with others. Those people will have to, in actual fact, give you permission to do it, to share it out, which is something you will have to ask them, unless you are obtaining that information, let's say, from another database that the CPF might have out there. So you're going to have to just please bear that in mind, and remember that information has to be protected. You can't just nilly-willy share certain information out there, especially when it comes to addresses and that type of thing. Get the information, put it in on the database. When I move to the next point, where we will in actual fact provide a maybe I still got to consider it, a public database or publicly accessible access to the database, then maybe only the name and the telephone number will be displayed. So a couple of things that we've got is the community policing forums, the CPFs, that will be block watchers, everything else. I'm just going to quickly go to the screen now. I want to tell you that I've designed this in such a way that the process is identical for each one of them. The questions and the forms may differ a little bit. So yeah, we capture a community policing forum record, or we can go and edit and list one, or we can delete one. So please be careful when you're working with the delete, because there is no way to recover that information. So I just want to quickly go through the capture form. I'm not going to capture the data. I just want to give you an idea of what is available. So anything with the red asterisk, of course, is a required field. You have to have that information before you are able to select the form. Or at least save the form to the database. Now when we get down to the forum category, you've got CPF, Neighborhood Watch, Block Watch, an ordinary association, or another sub-forum. Depending on what it is, you might get a Neighborhood Watch that is working under a different name, and therefore you could in actual fact put them as other sub-forum, or it could be a different type of association that is also doing patrolling. For example, if a specific residents association has been vetted through a local police precinct, then of course you can capture the residents association and utilize that one. The positions that I'm looking at: chair, deputy chair, treasurer, secretary, PRO, those ones, if we can get a decent group of members throughout the country, it would be appreciated. And then patrollers or others. You might find, for example, in a within a residents association, just for argument's sake, they might have a specific a designation for somebody that might, for example, provide meals while the guys are on duty, or it might be somebody that's responsible for the register of, when the patrollers sign on and sign off, outside of the secretary's role. So I think majority of this, of course, is going to be self-explanatory. We have got different levels. The national board, that'll be the police board. Maybe I should rename that to National Police Board. Provincial board, then the cluster or district boards, station level executive committee, everything on the station level. Yeah, I've already got the provincial levels listed as well, so you can put in, provincial level exco and so forth and so forth. And of course you work through the entire thing. Then at the bottom, the last 3 lines that I put in, now these ones are critical, because this is what you need to know in order to do a search on your database at a later point. You need to put in your name and your surname, your telephone number, and an email address. So please remember what you have in actual fact put in there, because if you forget that, you're not going to be able to find the relevant records, which means that it's going to become a little bit of a problem. You'll have to ask me again. Alright, so the other thing I wanted to point out is working on the PC is the better way of utilizing this, because once you've hit the submit button, then if there are any errors, what you will find is the form will tell you that there are errors, and of course you'll have to press the back button. I haven't put a specific button to go back. Select the back button, don't close that window, because whatever you have filled in will in actual fact be lost. And then of course you can come and make any adjustments, find wherever the fields are that are empty, that need to be filled and are compulsory fields, fill them in. Also, in order to read about our privacy policy PDF, there is a link here. Please go and make use of it. So what I wanted to say is that if you submit the form and it says everything is hunky-dory fine, then of course you're going to get back to this page. It'll tell you it has been updated, what I recommend you do is you hit the back button again if you're going to enter details for the same policing forum or other database. So for example, you might have the chair's number, name and number, and then the next one will be the vice chair's name and number. And a lot of the other information that is contained within the form might be similar to the first one. By hitting the back button, you can work through it and just correct and modify any of the relevant fields. Then lastly, on that on the form, the way that I've done it, whenever you click on some of the links, it'll open up a separate window or tab within your window, so that when you close it, it'll take you right back to the beginning. Now if we take a look at the edit list, remember what I said, you need to be able to put in specific information. Now I can't remember what I used, so I'm just going to see if I can quickly get the information here. Okay, those two there, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because you can actually specify a specific name or a surname. Now this is important because you might be looking for John Doe, and you don't want to do a list of 5,000 CPF members. You can put in John Doe, or in the case of a missing person, you can put in the missing person's name, or if you've only got the telephone number or the CPF name, or even a position for that matter. When you fill those fields in, the form will only populate, the display form will only populate with the information that is available. So You can see here I've got no records found on this particular one, but what I will do is I think I've got some temporary data available on the missing persons form that might be able to demonstrate this for you. The delete, you follow the exact same process, and of course once you've input your data at this form and you get a list of everything, then you can select that particular record and you will delete it from there. So let's just, then the critical infrastructure, yeah, again the same thing applies. I need people to start getting a list of whatever is critical infrastructure within their area, or any other information that they might have on other critical infrastructure. Here we're looking specifically at the province here, the metro's name itself, the district name as well, and it's got to be one or the other, not both. Then you can specify subject, responsible entity name. I think 90% of this is all self-explanatory, and the same process will be followed. So I want to just quickly check and see if there is anything in this particular record that maybe, we can either look at the display, or in actual fact we'll use that one and we will do that one. Let's see if we get any records on it. There we go, we've got one record, so it does come up. And of course the more records, the more lines will display, and it's unlimited lines. I haven't restricted it to 20 or 30, so it might take a bit of time to load. Hover over the particular record you're looking for. In this particular case, I've only used the metro, district or municipality as a one with a suburb. There are GPS coordinates that can be put in, and then the infrastructure name. I've tried to keep it as simple as possible, and of course now you can see everything has in actual fact been populated, and you can go and update it and correct it accordingly. Now the same thing will apply with the delete. If you go to the delete function, you will see that instead of giving you the option to in actual fact modify any of the details, it'll just display the relevant details for that particular record. You can't go and change anything. The only thing is you can then select the record, and you can click there to delete the record. So it'll just give you a populated information that is available on that form, and nothing more according to changes that can be made. Alright, so that is the concept that we're going to use for all of the forms. Fire Protection Association is another one that we need. A list of emergency contact numbers. Again, 99% of this is going to be self-explanatory, and people are really don't believe that I need to go through a very detailed sort of explanation of what is needed and what's not needed, etc. So in the emergency contact, again, province, the metro, the district. Remember, you get metros and you get districts, which in actual fact also fall under the local municipalities as well. Okay, so basically when you take a look at the metro will be the main metros throughout the country, like Buffalo City, City of Cape Town, Joburg, and of course Ekurhuleni is also sitting here. At least it should be. That's interesting. Did I not put this? Oh, I did. Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Municipality. Okay, so Ekurhuleni is there. I just didn't use the word city. It would have made it just a little bit longer in my field length, but Ekurhuleni is in actual fact there. When you look at the district and the local municipality, now here's a little bit of a dilemma. You'll notice that the districts A to Z in alphabetical order, I've listed it in that manner. However, when you get down to Z, then we move over, and here that K is local for some reason seems to be out of sync. I might correct that to move it, but your local municipalities will be the second part of the list. So just be careful of that. I didn't want to have another field, metro district, and then local as well. I've brought them together. Um, I also see, oh no, that's fine. I thought I duplicated Bella Bella and Berg River, but that's fine. So just be careful as to which one of these you are selecting, and of course this way it'll help you to distinguish between your district and your local communities. The service category, we are currently looking at emergency telephone numbers. Service categories are also listed here. If there is anything that I've missed, let me know. We can always add it to the list, and then we can move it forward from there. I have in actual fact created other general and other medical facilities, so that you don't need to be delayed in terms of capturing the information. You can capture it, and I can always pick it up at a later stage and see if we get a common denominator under general, and then I can add it to the list at that point. Now, again, it's the exact same process throughout. Sorry, my PC is just slowed a bit. If you go to the edit list, the form that you will populate will be slightly different from one database to the other in terms of descriptions, but it's still exactly the same principle and working throughout for both the edit and or the deletion. Fire protection, vulnerable persons. This in particular needs maybe a little bit of a mention as well, because what we need to do is within our local communities, if we come across people who are in actual fact vulnerable people, i.e. residents that might be bedridden, we need to start building up a little bit of a database to find out who needs what. So for example, you can see here I'm stating, does the person require or rely on any of the following: oxygen concentrator, whatever. And of course this is going to be really dependent on both the patient or the vulnerable person and or their family, and we can't just populate this information. We definitely need permission from the family in particular, so much so that I am considering that, you know, perhaps this form should be filled in manually. Send the family a paper-based form. I will have a look at what I can do on that, make it available, let them complete it, and then it can come through. And I don't think that everybody is going to object, but I think there might be a couple of people who do object to capturing the information. And this is again why we need to really and truly be careful what we are doing in terms of the POPI Act. The emergency shelter information, I'm still busy developing that database, so that one will probably be available by the end of the year, but I definitely want to cover the missing persons one. Now, the missing persons, because of the fact that we're getting a lot of messages coming through with regards to the missing persons information that is being distributed, it's a very complex situation, and there is a greater plan that I have with regards to this particular database, which does in actual fact fall into the last training module that I did, Missing Persons, the Ultimate Curveball, but I'm not going to discuss it in this video. What I want you to in actual fact understand is that there will be a correlation between this and various other aspects of information that is going to be made available. Now, for some reason, this is telling me that I'm utilizing, maybe my email address was wrong here, because I don't believe I used the domain solutions. I think I did everything under my mcom.coza address, so let's utilize the mcom.coza address. And of course, it's still not giving me information, so I'm going to pause the video and I want to go and have a look to see what details I actually utilized. And this is why I said to you, oh, now I got the wrong telephone number in there as well. Hold on a sec. I was using 4701, a redundant number, and there we go. Now we should get some details appearing for the missing person. I don't believe this. Let me pause the video and go and double check to see which details are utilized for capturing of these records. Okay, so basically I was being a bit of a fool myself. Every time I changed the telephone number, it gave me my domain solutions address, and every time I entered the domain solutions COSA address, it gave me a different telephone number. Now that I've managed to get the correct telephone number and the correct email address in, and I hit the submit button, we should see some positive results, which we have. Okay, now I just want to utilize Liam Swart for an example at the moment. On this one, there's a fair bit of information that needs to be considered. And you notice at the top I've got two files that have been input. So if you click here to upload a missing person's photo, one thing I wanted to say is that when you start a new form, you can't follow this process. You have to capture the details of the missing person first, and then come back and edit it, and then off of your PC directly you can either click there and go and select the file in one of your folders, or just drag it and drop it in. And as you saw here, there is at the moment the possibility of doing PDF, JPG, JPEG and PNG files can all be uploaded. Okay, then moving on with the data. Oh yes, of course you can go and delete that flyer if you want to, and go and put in a new flyer, whatever the case might be. And the way that I would like this to work is that we can in actual fact upload multiple flyers for the same person. So a flyer that's been issued by VCSI, or maybe one by Unchain the Children, then we can upload both of them, and you will see at the bottom that all your flyers will in actual fact be displayed. Now again, you know, Poppy Act, all the rest of it, everything else, you find a flyer that's on the notice board, for example, just take the details and superimpose them all into this particular database here. Certain things you won't have on the flyer, like a date of birth or the age, but you will be able to pick up the majority of the information. Nationality, 9 times out of 10, you know, one would assume they are South African, but they could be foreign nationals. A lot of the flyers will state foreign national. You can always just input unknown. The date and time of the last seen, that there could be a problem, especially if the flyer doesn't have a date, but I do need to make it as a compulsory field, so try and do something on that. If we're going to have a problem, we'll have to find a way of overcoming that, maybe with allowing 000 all the way through to go through, meaning we don't know. And then all the other information, find as much of the information on the flyer, populate the field. If, for example, there isn't anything available on the flyer, then you can just put NA for not applicable, or I don't know, or whatever. Go through the information. Same thing applies here at which SAPS police station. Again, you can always say don't know, or OB number, TBA, or to be advised, or whatever the case you know, you might feel. And then any of the contact details, because of the fact that there's something coming off of the flyer, the contact details is going to be the contact details on the flyer of the NGO who issued the flyer, or even the SAPS police station. And so you're going to work through the form again, self-explanatory. Put in your details that you want to utilize, and if you are coming back to do a update, then you can come back here at a later stage, and where the current status is missing, you can change this to found safe, found deceased, case closed, other, or unknown, depending on what the flyers put out. And then of course, as I said, if you look at the bottom, you will in actual fact find that all the flyers that have been uploaded specifically for this person, you can in actual fact input your flyers and see what it is that you want to display. And of course, if you hit the submit button, it's going to update all of those details there. There we go. So there's the update. If there was any errors, it would in actual fact, maybe let me just find one of them here. that is a requirement. So we're going to take out number 12 and we're going to update it. The record should say that there are fields. Oh, it actually did allow it to go through. But strange, I'll have to go back and have a look at number 12. Maybe I didn't put it in as a compulsory. But if you pick up things like that, just pop me a WhatsApp, and of course we can take it from there. Alright, so I think that's basically where we are at the moment. You can delete your flyers. Click here to upload. I showed that in the beginning. You can come and drop your a maximum of 3 missing person images may be uploaded, and that will be on the missing person side of it. When you go over to put in this as being a found safe or whatever, then it should in actual fact update it to a different category altogether. Alright, so that gives us a brief background on that one. And of course the exact same thing happens when you edit it or you delete an existing missing persons record. The update status also applies, where you can also come in here, and let's just go and get these details again. We'll do that, and we will remove that and that, and of course this now will become there, and we'll submit, and we'll still go to Liam Swart. There we go. Okay, so here we can delete again. This time it just shows the details, it doesn't do anything else, and there's our information at that point, and that's where you can come and do here. Now here's where I put in the button, click here if you wish to upload an updated found safe etc. flyer. And the reason for this is going to become apparent when you follow that route and you go to display all the missing persons flyers. What we will in actual fact have is a list of all the flyers that have been posted. And as I said, we can upload 3 flyers, right? That'll be 3 on missing and 3 on the updated status, found, whatever. So when you get Liam Swart here, if we click on it, in this case it's a PDF file. I just used PDFs to have a look to see what was going on. Hit the previous button and it should give you a different image altogether, whatever the case might be. Again, as I say, I utilized 2 PDFs, and then here I've got a PNG file that I uploaded. There's another PNG file that I've uploaded. No, I think this is a JPEG or PNG, and so it goes on, and you can close it and you can work your way through. So Liam Swart found, Liam Swart found, Liam Swart, and the same thing appears here. Now, just as part of the testing, I dumped an extra record into the folder, which is why we're getting 1 extra coming up, because ultimately there should be 3 by 2. Total is 6, and we've got 7 in here, so don't mind that minor error. And that there is basically how the entire program and application works. So I really and truly hope that you are going to find this beneficial, and I hope that the recording recorded correctly and I didn't have a problem. I'm going to have to go back and have a look at it, and then hopefully I don't need to come back and redo it. So have a great one. Cheers. Bye.